All right, everybody. So Jerome Powell did cut rates by another 0.25%. And again, that brings us maybe to, I would say, if you're looking for a home, about 5.75%. If you get lucky, maybe 5.5, but generally most of you will be at that 5.75. So with that said, when does money printing begin? It looks like it begins this Friday, December 12th. Again, in some way it's good, in other ways it's going to cause even more inflation, which is a disaster. So I want to kind of let you know what I did with my portfolios and what I'll be doing over the next couple of months. So let's just look at some cryptos over here. You got PooCoin, which is definitely a sell, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin, Binance Coin. We got Chainlink and we got Avalanche. These you should have sold a long time ago. Up here you got Tron, and this is Hype. Again, these are definitely reduced size, maybe even sell. Just understand there are two things that happen when a stock market or crypto market sell-off happens. You will always see the negative cash producing, no margin stocks sell off first. Anything speculative that's not making money is definitely getting rid of. And then same thing with small cryptos, and then all the big cryptos will follow as well. But really, I will group the no margin small tech stock companies and the entire crypto market that exists into one big bunch. That always goes first. Now, again, those are opportunities. So, right now, Bitcoin Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, Sui, you got, Cardano. These are a hold. If you did not sell at those peaks, you really should not be selling those right now. I do believe you should be adding on to absolutely Ethereum and absolutely Solana, because the big institutions, if they ever decide to go all in, right, and just fully switch to crypto, which you're seeing it happen. But if you see a massive transition, right, instead of the slower one that's happening right now, the real two benefactors are going to be Ethereum and Solana. You don't really need anything else. In fact, you don't even need Bitcoin. So just keep that in mind. Now, my super buys I would say for this week in terms of stocks, absolutely Netflix. If that Warner Brothers deal does not go through, they're gonna get like $3 or $4 billion of free money. If it goes through, they're gonna have some awesome additions to Netflix. Again, now they're in a bidding war with Paramount. But it kind of sounds like Warner Brothers never wanted Paramount to have any of their property at all. So again, if they kind of go straight through shareholders, which is exactly what they're doing, I do think that Netflix might end up putting even more money up to win. Now, to kind of let you know why Netflix sold off about 30% over the last month or two, and one of the big reasons is really if they put all this money in, they end up buying the Warner Brothers properties, all those movies, TV shows. What you're gonna see is probably somewhere around 10 to 12 months of stagnancy, right, for Netflix. The stock's not gonna do a whole lot. And again, if the stock is now already 30% down and maybe even goes down a little bit more, I'm gonna continue to add on because that is an opportunity. This is the best streaming, I would say, in the world platform. I mean, entire world. So I'm all into it. I only invest, and again, this is my takeaway to anybody that ever wants to invest into anything: only buy monopolies. Keep in mind why I always bought Bitcoin. Well, you cannot have anything else other than Bitcoin when it comes to cryptocurrencies aside from altcoins. Remember, Bitcoin was created and then everything else was called an altcoin, including Ethereum, Solana. Everything is an altcoin, which is alternative to Bitcoin. So that is a true monopoly in itself. And then, with smart contracts, you have Ethereum, which is an absolute monopoly. The fastest, safest, one of the best networks out there, and, is Solana. So I do want to always buy into monopolies. And why I was really gun-ho into Ripple at 40 and 50 cents, I knew they were going to win the lawsuit. And even they didn't, this thing bottomed out at that 50-cent mark anyway. So that told me if Ripple does become the bridge between cryptocurrencies, it might get to $2 or $3. And sure enough, it did. And again, I took profits on all of that. But right now, if we see some pullback to like $1.75 or so, I might end up adding more to Ripple. So again, let's kind of switch over here. OxRank.com market movers over here. S&P 500 did close a little bit lower as investors tap brakes before the Fed decision this week, which just happened, and we got that 0.25%. But from the looks of it, the markets are not kind of trying to digest what's going to happen next year. Now, even though the money printer is on, it looks like the decision that Jerome Powell made was, yes, we're going to have a 0.25% rate cut, which we just got, but over the next 8 months, through all of basically January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, you're really not going to have. In fact, I think the entire year of 2026, you might have one single rate cut, maybe two. So majority of it is going to be completely without any rate cuts. And then that's a hard hard pill to swallow. So we'll see what the markets do tomorrow. Again, OxRank.com, market movers, crypto remains on edge. That could be bad for the stock market. Again, if these money printers come on, which they will in 2 days from now, it could be temporarily good for crypto. So if you see some big pump ups back to, close to $4,000 for Ethereum, I really do recommend, if we are back in the $4,000, $4,100 range, whatever, for Ethereum, you do sell it and then slowly get back in over the course of like 6 months. Don't pile right back in there. Again, taking a look over here, OxRank.com, market movers. XNES warns of shifting crypto sentiment as market momentum shows signs of cooling in 2025. So be careful. A lot of these companies have made a ton of money over the last 11 and a half, 12 months. And in that period, they may just want to take profits, secure what they have, and kind of get out of the market. So we might see a sell-off again. We also do have the typical Santa Claus rally that happens 3 out of the 4 years. So it happens 75% of the time. The typical time when it begins is December 28th. And it lasts through about the first 6 to 8 days of January. So usually December 28th and then all the way through about January 6th, sometimes January 7th or 8th. And that's the end of the Santa Claus rally then. Again, one of my big buys over here is going to be, if I see any kind of a correction, is Meta Platforms, which is Facebook. I think, whatever happens, including if there is a recession, you're going to absolutely then have to massively advertise. And again, in this portfolio, I can, buy, 1.8. I can buy a lot in this portfolio of Meta Platforms if I wanted to. But again, I'm going to keep it very, very small. As you can see, I have about $15,000 into it. I am pretty much only $37 up on it. I just started pretty much slowly adding to it. Any kind of a correction, I'm going to continue to add. But if we take a look year to date, it's really only up 9%. In the last 3 months, it's down almost 16%. So I am taking advantage of that. Looking over here, I would like to purchase it somewhere around this 590 range. Again, that's kind of my, my buy-in range. So let's take a look at OxRank analysis tool. Again, if you are interested in this proprietary tool that we built, we only have about 27 more spots available at the $9 mark. And then we are going to $49. So if you're interested, and you will be grandfathered in for the rest of your life at that price, which is super, super awesome at $9.99. And again, you can use the, all-in-one portfolio tracker to stay up to date. So let me log in here. And when we get into, let's see what our AI analysis is saying. All right, so it's switched up a little bit. It's saying Amazon, Ethereum, MasterCard, and Facebook are your top buys over here. Again, the crypto fear and greed index is much, much more scared than the stock market. So again, right now, if you are really, really bullish on crypto, some of those like, Solana are a buy. The Buffett indicator still shows that the stock market is insanely overvalued. Now, the Ox meter is showing, let's take a look. So we are in the buy range for crypto. If you have a seat over here in the purple where it says Ox buy, that means the entire market has completely crashed and you should be buying stocks, crypto. I mean, every penny you have, you should be investing it. Typically, if you see it over here on yellow, it is just telling you to hold this investments you have. And again, over here, if it's, it's telling you that, we are overvalued and you should be selling some of your stuff, taking profits. And, true insanity, some kind of a war or some other fear in the markets, and, you will get this red alert to just go all cash. So I am mostly cash right now, and I'm slowly buying back in over the next 30 to 60 days. So now is the perfect time to buy in. Again, earnings calendar for this week, December 8th through 12th, here the company is reporting. Again, if you click on Ox Picks over here, You'll be able to see what I've been buying, what I've been selling. You'll be able to see the 10K to 100K portfolio, the 50K, the 100K, and the $1 million portfolio. So again, awesome opportunity if you're trying to follow us. Again, you have over here Coinage Launcher, Coinage Fourth, you have OxRank, and you can check out the tutorials and the watch list as well is very, very important. So if I click on portfolios over here, here's our $1 million portfolio. So again, let's take a look what our AI analysis tool is saying for this portfolio. Bitcoin winter started October 6th, 2025 and will end October 18th, 2026 if it follows the typical 4-year cycle. Again, so this is dependent if it follows the typical 4-year cycle. Small cap stocks and AI companies should follow next with a shift to value stocks. So what we're doing is we have our own language learning model. We have our own APIs that we built, and we on top of that also utilize all the other LLMs. And with that in combination with all the historical market and crypto market data, we come up with where we really should be. So again, this is analyzing almost 100 years of data and kind of giving you a projection of what it believes. Now again, these dates it scans on a daily basis, so these dates may update. Again, this is what our now AI, artificial intelligence tool is telling us that it will end. But again, this does not mean that you may not see, a recovery from 70,000 back to like $126,000 for Bitcoin, or a recovery for Solana back to 230. You could still recover back to highs and hold on there, and maybe kind of be within that 10% range during a crypto winter. Also, if major companies start shifting to Ethereum, it could skyrocket while the rest of the crypto market sells off. So just something to kind of keep in mind. But I really love the AI analysis over here that we're kind of getting. And, it just should help new investors figure out what to do and, where to sell, what to buy, and where to go with their investments. Again, go to oxrank.com to try out our tool. Thank you for watching and take care.